will the virtuous Sangha out of compassion for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, give suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung kính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhớ thiết chúng sanh, thịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tốt chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed Noble and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Saranto Suchedo Ye Alahadi Samyao Samputo Xie. Nam mô Tadatta Toya Daya Alahade Tamyo Tambo Da Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom and thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng she wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zao yu wo jin jian wen de shou zhi yuan jie ru lai zhe shi yi. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Six Patriarch, Venerable Shen Hua, Venerable La Phong people, and all good known advisors of Mito Phổ. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa lục tổ, ở thượng kim hoa ký thầy cô và quý vị trí thực. Chư Phật菩萨六祖师父上人，各位出家人，各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Today is the 2nd of August, 2020. We are coming to you from Way Mountain Temple in Rosemead, California. We are continuing to discuss the Sixth Patriarch Sutra. One first comment is that we observing my late Chinese teacher's Dharma of doing the Dharma request. Just one comment is that you see the Chinese music, the Chinese melody is so adorned, much more so than any other language. It shows you the depth of their teachings. Even the melody is so much better than any other dharmas I know of, whether it's Pali, whether it's Japanese, whether it's Vietnamese, whatever. It's so rich and so adorned. This morning we did the Bu Men Pin, the Universal Door chapter. You see how wonderful the music was, the melody was. It's just so Chinese. It's a fantastically rich and profound Mahayana tradition. This is why even though we're in the U.S., we Americans pick and choose what's best. We're not stuck on in English or whatever. Okay, we really are not American. We are a mixed bag. So the ones who are stuck with American English or Vietnamese or Chinese really are not Mahayana. So we are Mahayana. We pick and choose whatever is good and we like. So I love the Chinese ceremonies. That's why our ceremonies are still in Chinese. All right, we are currently on slide 440 of chapter 7, 6 Patriarch Sutra. Now let me see where we are. So the Master certified Huai Rang, Venerable Huai Rang, as enlightened already. That's where we left off the last time, right? You are thus, I am thus too. Okay, Venerable Huai Rang, for your information, is a very, very big shot. He's the 7th Patriarch, and he later fathered the Ma Zu Dao Yi, one of the most eminent monks of the Chinese Chan tradition. Okay, I rank the 6th Patriarch is among the Buddhas, and and that's why we have something called 6th Patriarch Sutra. So he's in a class by himself among the Buddhas. But for the patriarchs, Ma Zu Dao Yi is also a humongous personality, and his equal, his contemporary, is Shu Tou. Okay, so these two monks. So you see, the 6th Patriarch, Venerable Hui Neng, have 2 7th Patriarchs. One is Xing Si, and the other is Huai Rang. Okay, so Xing Si then certified Shu Tou, Venerable Shu Tou. Okay, and then Huai Rang certified Ma Zu Dao Yi. You see, they come in pairs. It's kind of funny. Master Huai came in by himself. This is how piss poor we are. You see, back then in the Chinese, they don't have just one; they have 2. They come in pairs. Okay, so you have Huai Rang and Xing Si, and then you have Ma Zu and Shu Tou. Okay, and then a couple of generations later, you have the 5 houses of Chan in China. That's how big these teachers are. They're humongous. Okay, so previously we learned about Xing Si, the 7th Patriarch. Okay, Ma Zu. The 6th Patriarch met with him in 2 sentences. He's done. He helped Xing Si become enlightened, just like that, and named him assembly leader. Boy, I wish I could be have the skills of Venerable Hui Neng. Then I could have retired by now. I mean, okay, and not bother with dealing with 90-degree temperature in a building that has no air conditioning. This is so much suffering. And for you, for me, I don't mind. For you to drive so far away, risking getting infected, and come here and it's so hot, it's unbearable. Anyway, so the 6th Patriarch taught Xing Si, the 7th Patriarch, in 2 sentences. He's done. And now for Huai Rang, the other 7th Patriarch, he's a little bit more work. But Huai Rang has a stronger foundation. Huai Rang has spent several years learning what? Vinaya. Kind of interesting. Huai Rang, the current Chan master we're discussing, spent several years studying the Vinaya. Not too many monks do that. Okay, that's a big difference. Okay, so his foundation is so solid that later on his Huai Rang became one of the important successors of the 6th Patriarch. Okay, and Huai Rang taught Ma Zu. Mazu is actually slightly more famous than Shuto. So that's why you see Huai Rang is in my humble opinion, slightly better than Xingsi as a system, as a patriarch. That's why Mazu chose to study from under him. Okay? Shuto is actually a disciple of Venerable Huai Rang, but since he wasn't enlightened by the time Venerable Huai Rang died, he had to go study under Xingsi, who certified him, who helped him become enlightened. Okay, so Shuto is actually a mix, a hybrid, if you will. Okay, like many of you are, the majority of you are like hybrids, meaning that you are exposed to multiple cultures, not just one. All right, we are on slide 440. So it is fantastic that we are learning about this great teacher and see how he trained these great patriarchs in our Chan tradition. Okay, Sutra text. In the West, Prajnatara predicted the colt would run from under your feet. That's Mazu. Trampling and killing people under heaven. You should keep that in mind, but do not speak of it too soon.
西方般若多罗乘，汝足下出一马驹，踏杀天下人，应在汝心，不须诉说。
Yeah, I think her Chinese pronunciation is slightly better than mine. We should keep it up. Commentary. The 27th patriarch from India. This is the patriarch before Venerable Bodhidharma. So he came. You see, Dharma propagation is a very, very, it's a huge undertaking for the patriarch. So they prepare for many generations. So before Bodhidharma came, the 28th patriarch is Bodhidharma. He's Indian. He's an Indian prince. He came from India to China to bring Mahayana to China. So in order to do that, okay, his predecessors and his pupils actually paving the way for him already. So before the 7th patriarch, the 28th patriarch Bodhidharma came, the 27th patriarch came already and made a prediction. And then before Bodhidharma came, he sent 2 of his disciples. For some reason, the Chinese love pairs. Huh? Kind of strange. Pairs, 2 of them. To send his 2 disciples to China. And these 2 Indian disciples didn't speak a single word of Chinese. They went around and were treated so badly. That's what happens when you're a bodhisattva. You're supposed to be treated very badly. The better you are, the badly treated you are. The worse treated you are. Anyway, so to the 27th Indian patriarch, Prajnatara, made the prediction. He says the colt, a colt meaning it's a horse. Okay, a horse. Mazu. Ma is Chinese for horse. Okay, I don't know why he's called Ma. Why is it called Ma? Well, we have to learn about his story later. Anyway, so he says the colt will run from under your feet, meaning that Huai Rang will father Mazu, will train Mazu, okay? Trampling and killing people under heaven, meaning what? This is very Chinese. Under heaven means what? In the Chinese world, you have heaven and earth. And between is us, Chinese people. I mean, them Chinese people. Okay? That's how they used to look at themselves. They only saw themselves, only gods are better than me, and underneath me is, ants and so forth. So I, as Chinese, I'm the best in the world. That's how Chinese look at themselves. So it says, trampling and killing people under heaven. Okay, so this colt here, his horse here, would run very fast, trampling, and in running very fast, he tramples, and eradicated and overwhelmed a lot of people under heaven. Meaning he outdebated, he outclassed, he performed, he outcompeted, everything. Okay, and killing people under heaven. So apparently this cult here is very, very bloodthirsty. You should keep in mind, you don't speak of it too soon. He says, I'm giving you a hint, but don't brag. Okay? You are a patriarch. Don't brag. Only non-patriarchs brag. Okay, any questions? So you see, so these patriarchs, to me, it's kind of heartwarming, because the patriarchs, they quietly went, the Indian from India to China back then. It's a long distance. It's no Boeing 747. Okay, so to travel the long distance from India to China, it's very, very tough. Okay, if you go by foot, it takes years. And you go by boat, you might drown. Okay, you might get shipwrecked. So it's very, very dangerous undertaking. And yet, this 27th patriarch, before the next one who's supposed to go to India, he went to China already, and prepare as well. Okay, so it's kind of nice. Patriarchs are nice people, you would say. Okay, at least the Indian patriarchs. Now, Chinese patriarchs, my personal experience has been not as nice. Anyway, it's just me. It's a reflection on me, not my Chinese teacher. (442) Huai Rang certainly understood. Accordingly, he waited upon the Master for 15 years, daily penetrating more deeply into the profound and mysterious.
让豁然契会，遂直视左右15载，日臻玄奥。
Huai Rang certainly understood. I think this is from the sixth patriarch statement, you are thus, I am thus. I think, okay, and not the Pratyatara, because Pratyatara is dead already. So at that, when the sixth patriarch says, you are thus, 你如是, 我也是, 也如是, you are thus, I am also thus. So with that single statement, okay, Huai Rang understood that he also received first certification from the sixth patriarch. Okay, and maybe it's because the sixth patriarch said, I'm also thus, 我也如是. That's why Huai Rang accordingly,随之. So he accorded with the circumstances. Okay, he waited upon the Master for 15 years. This is extremely important. Okay, to the Chinese. So for 15 years he learned from the sixth patriarch every single day. Okay, it's tremendous blessings. Because someone asked this morning, what if you ask something from the Bodhisattva, do you do blessings? And now this person, this seventh patriarch, is not asking for anything, but he's serving. the bodhisattvas for 15 years. It's incredible amount of blessings. You think, look at it that way, okay? Yeah. So, and then not only that, and that's what you newcomers, especially if you go, because our training program has a Chinese origin. So as you come to the temple, you come to our environment, half of what you're supposed to pick up is from observing others. Only when you're too stupid, I mean so dense, don't mean stupid, you're so dense, I have to pick you aside and say, don't be like that. You see how that the other person sits? How the other person walks? You see how they adjust their sash when they sit down? Can you notice that? We have to tell you every single thing? You cannot even tell it's more adorned? So anyway, so that's very Chinese, by the way. They're unspoken and spoken teachings. The unspoken is the Wei, the Wei. The unspoken is your awesome comportment. You watch people and see how they behave themselves, they comport themselves. That's unspoken teaching. The Wei. Okay, Chinese call Wei. What's Korean for Wei? Sangbuk. What's Wei? Wei. There you go. Oai Nhi. Vietnamese. Vietnamese Oai Nhi. They're all similar. These Asian languages, very similar. They steal from each other. Anyway, so you, and this is so contrary to the Caucasian or Western culture, where you walk into the temple and say, "Here I am, serve me. I'm important." Yes. Whereas in a Chinese system, you walk in the temple and you say, "Oh, I better watch and see how am I going to disappear." That's very Chinese. So that no one notices me. That's very Chinese. Okay? And you don't get noticed because you do the same thing as everyone else. You never stand out. And that's an unspoken teaching, which I struggled with when I first joined my master's temple. Okay. I said, why are you guys so boring? Everyone does the same thing. No one stands out. What kind of people are you? Don't you have any personality? Okay. So anyway, so accordingly he waited upon the master for 15 years, daily penetrating more deeply into the profound and mysterious. Okay. The Mahayana teaching is very profound and mysterious. Okay. If you really understand, reach a decent level of Mahayana, you will find it extremely profound and extremely mysterious. Of course, you don't find profound mysterious, right? I rest my case. Okay, so this is I don't know whether the sixth Patriarch proclaimed that, but the person who recorded the sutra, Venerable Phá Hải, the Changmeng Phá Hải, wrote down that he deeply penetrating deeply into the profound mysterious. I don't know whether this is his judgment, but I feel, if you ask me for my guess, I would feel that it's the sixth Patriarch who told Phá Hải He said, you see, I know you don't get it, Fa Hai, but this guy served him 15 years, and he every day he got deeper and deeper into my teaching. Okay? That's probably came from the sixth patriarch, not from Fa Hai, because Fa Hai is a little bit lower level than Huai Rang, in my humble opinion. Okay? Yeah. That's called active listening. You need to see, how does he know this is Fa Hai who wrote down this thing? So how does he know? How can you understand? How can he use the word profound and mysterious? That came to my mind right away. Like, how is it possible he could qualify it as profound and mysterious? Okay, so it's gotta be coming from the Venerable Sixth Patriarch. Okay, anyway, it's just my being picky. 444, triple. Sutra text. He later went to Nanyue, where he spread the Chan school. The title Chan Master Ta Hui was bestowed upon him posthumously.
后往南岳大禅宗，赤世大慧禅师。
So after serving Master Huai Rang, we are on 445. After serving Master Huai Rang for 15 years, he went to Nanyue. I think it's the name of a mountain. Yes or no? It's the name of a mountain, Nanyue, and stopped at Wan Yin platform, whatever it means, and it's the name of a place, and propagated the Chan Dharma master expensively. So he's a great, great Chan master himself. Okay. All right. Any questions? So, seventh patriarch Huai Rang was a big Chan personality in the Chinese Chan heritage. That's why the Chinese Chan is so rich. Okay, and I hope that in the future, for Mahayana to really prosper in this country, we need a lot more of the localized people to become great Chan masters like the Chinese. Okay, the advantage is that we are hybrids. They're authentic Chinese, if you will. Okay, 446 commentary about Dharma Master Huai Rang. Chan Master Huai Rang's room entering disciples, there were, among them, there were 6 of them who are famous, all certified by Chan Master Huai Rang. Okay, so the 7th patriarch Huai Rang have room entering disciples, meaning these students require special attention from Master Huai Rang. Here's why they call room entering disciples. Right now, when you have a problem, you say, let me see, I don't dare call Master because he's very busy. He's in a bad mood. He looks sick. He looks like he hasn't eaten well for some time. You see, someone is sleeping, that's why. So you don't dare approach a Master because Master is scary, right? He has a temper. Something like that. And some of my students are chuckling. We know that. Okay? So that's why we don't have a room entering system in our temple. It says, stay away from me. But back then, in China, in the Chinese Chan system, Chan environment, you have something called room entering disciples. Okay, meaning that they are at the point in the training where they feel that they can approach the master anytime. Okay, because the problem needs to be fixed right away. It cannot wait. That's why they call room entering disciples. They are special. They have special access. Okay, it's for their benefit. Okay, because if these types of problems are very difficult for them to solve, that's overwhelming for us. And typically, my own disciples, they have their problem is not as overwhelming as Master Huai Rang disciples' problems, of course. But I notice my disciples, when they have a problem, because we don't have room entering disciples, room entering system, so when they have a problem, they say, I can't take this, I'm running away, because this is too much. Okay, because Master doesn't care. Okay, whereas back then, Huai Rang, Venerable Huai Rang, have a master. There should be a T here, if you don't mind. Otherwise, it might sound like a German thing. Yeah, master. So, 六人接受大怀让禅师的印格。Okay. So they're all certified by Chan Master Huai Rang. Okay. Next, 447. This is, if you're interested in Chan, you need to know these things. Okay. It's very important. Why? Because you know these names, meaning that eventually you'll be in the future, you get a chance to learn about their teachings. Okay. So that you don't get distracted or influenced by the lesser teachers. Okay, because right now for you, all Chan masters are the same, right? Whoever is available, you learn. But actually, in the Chan practices, we're very selective. We don't just read anything at all, or anyone's teaching at all. We usually only read because it's a name that is recommended by our good know advisors. Why is that? Because you don't get it. You read the teachings, you are not supposed to get it. If you read the Chan teachings and Mahayana Buddhism, you say, I got it, I know what to do, then sorry, you're so confused. Because the true Chan, Mahayana, Chan teachings are what? Profound and mysterious. So profound that you cannot recognize how deep it is until your teacher says, you see, go further. Proceed. Keep at it. Keep at it. You see that? See, profound is because you get closer, you find out it's still more to go. It's still a lot more. Okay? You don't stand there and say, oh, I got it. No. Profound meaning that you go, you get closer, you investigate more. Okay? Then you realize, Jesus, still a lot more. We keep getting forward, and you realize that it's still so much more you have to learn. Okay? It's fascinating to me personally. Okay? And mysterious. It's mysterious. Mysterious out here is one characteristic is out in Chinese means what? You cannot possibly understand all of it. There's no way for you to get it. And that's Mahayana, by the way. You can't get it, period. Doesn't matter how smart you are. Doesn't matter how much you learn. Doesn't matter how strong you are, how advanced you are. It's still, still mysterious. There's lots of things you still don't get. That's why, naturally, what happens? As your wisdom unfolds, Mahayana wisdom unfolds, you become naturally more, what? Humble. He said, I don't get it. I still don't get it. Okay? There's no way for me to get it. And that's why the Chinese, what do? They become room-entering disciples of a great chant master so that they can go and get the answer. That's very Chinese. Okay? And we need to have that in our country if we want Mahayana to get deeper and broader. All right? Where are we? Okay, now we're back to 447. Among them, Mazu Dao Yi's gate and courtyard is most flourishing. So he's the most famous of his 6 disciples. Okay, 最胜, 门庭, 最胜. Now, this is a Chinese for gate and courtyard, 最胜, flourishing. I don't know what is meant by, this is old Chinese where back then they have different kinds of gates, not like the kind we have here. We have here in the West, the gates are usually made of iron gates or cheap gates. If you're in Texas, you make wood gates and stuff like that. And ting, courtyard, I don't know. So maybe the Chinese can help us out. What does it mean when the Chinese say 门庭? Does anyone understand old Chinese? The new Chinese, the young Chinese, they don't get 门庭 anymore. Yes? Do we have internet people? What happened? Internet person disappeared. We have some internet people who join us and who actually are very good Chinese, very erudite, very intellectual, very well read. So that's why I was hoping to pick the brains so that we can learn from them. Okay? So anyway, so Mazu Dao Yi, okay. Korea, yes, Korea. Yeah, of course, Koreans understand Chinese too. And they're more, they specialize more in the older Chinese, not the simplified Chinese. Simplified Chinese, like stripping off your heritage to me. Don't do that. Learn the old Chinese. If you want to learn Buddhism, Taoism, it has to be old Chinese, not simplified Chinese. Yes. Go ahead, Korean.
Master, when you go to traditional style temple, usually they have a big gate, like the 10,000 Buddhas. Temple has a big gate in front.
Yeah,
It's the same gate.
Right, Sanguan, right? The three entrances. Yes.
Yeah, it's the gate is like that, and then usually when you go to temple, you have different buildings, and there's like a big ground.
Okay.
Is it what it is?
Okay, that's a man. Okay, very good. That's a man. What about ting?
usually the many buildings in the temple and there are big ground like there are buildings around and then there's a big ground where people can gather.
But why is it flourishing? 盛,最盛. Why is it flourishing? You see, that's why the old Chinese is something that we don't get. It has a certain meaning that we don't have. We are not privy to. Yes, pinkish.
Flourishing means has most amount of people. A lot of people gather at the courtyard and gate.
So does it mean that many people come through that gate? Many people gather in the courtyard? Okay. So Chinese. Okay, you agree? Yeah. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that, these, in terms of meditation, in terms of Chinese Chan, Mazu is so famous. And so he's a descendant of Master Huai Rang. Okay? And so why is he famous? Because unlike the sixth patriarch in Buddhism, your contribution, you judge by your contribution. Okay? So number one contribution is your teachings. Agree? Your teachings. Your teachings is because it shows the depth and breadth of your understanding of Mahayana. So far, so good? Okay, so it's your ability to penetrate the teachings, the Buddhist teachings. That's why it manifests in your explanation in sutras, in the shastras you write, and you author, right? So that's number one to me. I mean, this is my humble opinion. It's simply that you need to have. Look how happy Darren is. Look at that. Yay. Hello. Does he speak English or Chinese or Korean? A little bit of everything. Oh, there you go. Okay, so you have this teacher who leaves behind these teachings, like the sixth patriarch. You see that? His teaching is so advanced that it's classified as a sutra, the same level as the Buddha's teaching. Got that? The only patriarch whose teaching is considered at the same level as the Buddha's teaching. That's how big his teaching was. One sutra. Okay? So first you judge by the teachings, your explanations, your dharma, the dharma you explain. And number two, the size of your temple. No? How big your temple is. Some people, yeah. Korea, 5 fingers. Now back to 5 fingers. Yes.
Master, the second is the disciple of the particular master.
No, that's not right.
No?
Disciples is not that important. Yeah. It's a matter of luck. Like Master Huai is so lucky. He has so many good disciples. I just don't have any luck, that's all. Okay, so yes, it's true. So you have this teaching here, right? Because it's your ability to penetrate the profound and the mysterious. Yes? Right? And that's what you're interpreting. The Buddha's teaching, which is profound and mysterious for the next generation. That's number one. Number two is that first one, the sutra you explain, the dharma you explain, is only yourself. Right? It dies with you. Yeah, after you're gone, who's going to explain it? Right? Like my master. after he died. Who is explaining now? Who? Huh? Which Heng now is explaining? Which non-Heng is explaining? Huh? You see that? So my master, like 6 patriarchs, left this profound and mysterious teaching. Okay? But then the disciples have to be able to understand that or expand on that. Right? So the number 2 judgment is on how manly you are as a teacher is what kind of students you have. Okay? This is the Western way of looking at the Chinese patriarchs, if you will. And my personal criteria to judge the monks or nuns or the patriarchs. Okay? Not all patriarchs are the same. So what happened is that Ma Zu Dao Yi is such an eminent monk from under Huai Rang. Okay? That shows how great of a teacher Huai Rang was. Okay? And Ma Zu himself, okay, trained Bai Zhang, and then the next Ma Zu's disciple is Bai Zhang. Okay, these are very big names, by the way, and you should feel happy. I cannot use a commercial word. Happy that that you hear these these important names, because it plants the seeds for you to have an affinity with these great teachers. So after Ma Zu, you have Bai Zhang, okay, who is what? Bai Zhang is famous for what? Anyone knows? He's the founder of the Chinese Chan monasteries. He's the one who invented, who authored a paper on how to organize a Chan monastery. He's the first one ever to do that. So the reason that the Chinese Chan monasteries thrived in China after him, because they follow his system. Okay. So for example, I'll give you something that we are very fortunate and should be very grateful to him, is, for example, everything is free. Sounds familiar? Oh God, you guys are boring and so ungrateful. Everything is free. Right? You don't have, unlike Venerable Sangwuk's temple, you don't walk in, you have to pay $10 to sit down. Okay? Here, you can walk in and you walk out and no one pays attention to you anyway. Okay. So everything is free. Okay? That's very Chinese. That came from Bai Zhang. And then, the only time, they don't ask you for money. So it's in the books here. He explained to you how to speak Dharma, how you should behave to the Dharma master, how the Chan monasteries are organized. And basically, it's free. We all work. They all cultivated the field, they all cooked, they all did things among themselves, never asked for money, by the way. Hey, you young monks, nuns, we never ask for money. Never, ever. Is it clear? Don't say, oh, I have this Dharma brother who needs a place to stay. Could you contribute $50 a month for the rent? We don't do that. Can you understand? It's not what we do. Okay? So this tradition is what made Chinese Chan monasteries flourish. Okay? It's all thanks to Bai Zhang. And then the only time that when you came, you said, okay, Master, I need to do a ceremony for my deceased mother. Okay? Then Bai Chang says, okay, when that happens, this is the formula. Incense stick is 5 pennies. Long sticks cost a little bit more. You want lunch, it's a so-and-so per bowl of rice. So they have this menu, if you will. And that's the precursor of Chinese pizza. Now you go to Chinese pizzeria, you say everything, right? See, breadsticks, okay, is so much. It costs how much for breadsticks? And Neapolitan pizza is so much, and then regular pizza is so much. Pan pizza a little bit thicker, so it costs a little bit more dough, so you have to pay a little bit more, that kind of thing. So this came from Bai Chang. So it's you're laughing, but you know it is so ingenious when you think about it, because the monks and nuns they just cultivate it, they just meditate it, they just work around the temple. They don't worry about it until someone comes and say, you know, I need a service, and that's when they have a formula to charge for those services. Why is it important? It's important because it's a system designed by a bodhisattva, not a mortal, not a CEO looking to make a lot of money. Secure a golden parachute, have a lot of stock options. This is designed by a great sage. Okay? So, very Bai Chang Chang Master designed the system so that all the Chinese monks had to do is follow it, and they're able to sustain themselves and practice Chan. And it worked for centuries. Until 20th century. It no longer worked. So my master had to take off. Okay? So, and he brought that system here to the US. See? Everything free. Isn't that cool? And that's Bai Chang. We should be so grateful to Chan Master Bai Chang, which is a disciple of Ma Zu, direct disciple of Ma Zu, who is direct disciple of Huai Rang, who is the direct disciple of Huai Rang, Venerable Huai Rang. That's why the Chinese, you see, is inbred in their culture, in their heritage. You look at where you came from. People look at where you came from, you know. And that's why now the descendants of Master Huai Rang are so important. They're flag bearers of Mahayana. Okay? I hope they live up to it. But the point here is that this lineage, this Mẫn Tịnh. So what do you say that? Where you came from? Huh? What?
门庭最盛.
No, wait. I'm saying like when the Chinese get married, they look at what the person who's the parents, how the family is like, and then the parents where they come from, are they divorced, are they rich, and that kind of thing. What kind of education?
门当户对.
Huh?
门当户对.
户对. Yes, sir. Orange in the back. Genealogy. More than genealogy, my friend. Genealogy is Western. The Asians are a lot more demanding. They look at it's not so much genealogy, but what the parents or the ancestors, what they accomplish. Yes. Green.
We have a word called lineage.
Lineage?
Lineage.
That's Chinese. It's the same concept. How you got here. What did your father do? Are they divorced? How many time losers are they? That kind of thing. Okay. So when you marry off your daughter, you want to make sure that the parents are not like multiple time losers. These people, that kind of thing. So it's important. Okay. So you see that this lineage is so important. That's why you need to stick with Master Huai Rang's his lineage. That's where you find these great teachers, these great contributors. Okay. We hope. Okay. Now, after Ma Zu, this is Bai Chang, remember? And Bai Chang then fathered what? Huh? Can you guess? The first school of Chan? Huh? Huh? Wei Shan Lin You. After Bai Chang is Wei Shan. Okay? So Wei Shan, the founder of our Chan school, is direct disciple of Bai Chang. Now how big he was. Okay? And so you have Ma Zu here, you have Bai Chang here, then you have Lin You here, then you also have Huang Bo, and then under Huang Bo is Lin Ji, which is the other Chan school. Okay? So Lin You, the Wei Yang lineage, is the first Chinese Chan school, okay, that was founded. And then a generation later, then the next 4 houses of Chan are founded. So in a way, that Wei Yang lineage is one step higher, if you will, because they are direct disciples of Bai Chang. And Lin Ji is under a disciple of Huang Bo. Huang Bo and Bai Chang are very, very good. But you see, so you see the difference in the generations. So only in our lineage, we are the first Chan house in China, and then later, because a lot of Master Wei Shan and Yang Shan teachings are not well understood. That's why I had to found Lin Ji and Cao Dong and Fa Yan and Yun Men, the other schools, okay, to take care of the lower level disciples. It's just my personal interpretation of that. Okay? But what do I know? I'm just a hybrid who never received any formal training. Okay? Just did my homework, that's it. Okay, so that's why after that, after Ma Zu, he's the one who fathered 2 houses of Wei Yang and Lin Ji. And later on, Wei Yang got in trouble. He couldn't find anyone worthy to understand the Wei Yang training. So, because Wei Yang and Lin Ji is similar, so the Wei Yang then was integrated into Lin Ji. So Wei Yang was discontinued for a long time, until Master Xu Yun came and was recognized as a Wei Yang Patriarch, who then certified Master Huai Rang as a Wei Yang Patriarch. Okay, so that's a brief history for you of the 5 Chinese Chan schools. And these houses are important because this is where our Chan Dharma came from. Okay, and we are a proud a student of the Huai Yang way of training. Okay? Yeah. And that now and after a while I understand. I later on figure out why I asked the question. When I first learned about this Chan school, I said, why Venerable Xu Yun, who is low level than Master Huai Rang? Okay? That's a fact, in my humble opinion. Master Xu Yun is a Chan master of all the 5 Chinese schools, right? And he only certified Master Huai Rang as a Huai Yang Patriarch. Why? He could have simply certified Master Huai Rang as Patriarchs of all 5 schools. Yes? Trust me, boys and girls. Okay? If Xu Yun is here, and Master Huai Rang is here, actually a lot higher, I can't reach it. Up there, okay? If Xu Yun is a 5 Chan school patriarch, you think Master Huai Rang is not? He says, why don't you take care of the other 4 houses and leave me alone? Right? I mean, don't bother me. Take care of them. Okay, take care of these low-level people. So for a long time, I asked myself, why was that? Because the Chinese, they don't talk about these things. I'm sharing you what I discovered over the years. So I sat there and I watched Master Huai Rang, listened to his teaching, watched his disciples, watched the videos, read their teachings, listened to their teachings, heard rumors from people who say, oh, Master, this section is very great, of the 6th Patriarch Sutra is great. I listened to, okay. So all these, because I have this curiosity. Why is it only Huai Yang Patriarch, not the other 4 houses, right? And why is it he's higher, and yet this lower person only recognizes him as a Huai Yang lineage? Okay, it's because I finally decided, I couldn't figure it out. Finally decided Huai Yang includes the other 4 houses. Remember? Bai Chang here, and when you have Huai Yang here, Lin You, and then Huang Bo, then Father Lin Ji, and then low level here you have the other 3 houses as well. Okay, right? So that's why Huai Yang has all these trainings, but they didn't understand. That's why they had to go out and create something called Lin Ji. They had something called, because Lin Ji is known, you don't know, Lin Ji is known to be very brutal teachers. They beat you up, they yell at you, they kick you, they brutalize you until you become enlightened. Okay? Right? That's what Lin Ji is famous for. And guess what? We do it Huai Yang too. We do a lot worse than they know how to. Trust me. Yeah. After you go through Huai Yang, being harassed and beaten up and brutalized by Huai Yang, you look at Lin Ji, and you call it suffering? Okay? Anyway, it's just my humble opinion. All right? So, in Korea, you folks have Koreans, you only have Lin Ji, right? 5 fingers.
Yeah, 임재정에서 한국 있죠, 임재정. Yes.
See, Lin Ji. Vietnamese, Lin Ji. Japanese, Rin Zai. Okay? All right? In China, they still have Huai Yang, but Huai Yang are from disciples of Master Xu Yun. They are Huai Yang. But the most advanced Huai Yang is actually Master Huai Rang. Okay? Anyway, so far so good. So you see, now you understand the hierarchy of these schools. And that's why Huai Rang had to merge into Linji and went to Korea, went to Vietnam, went to Japan, so forth, because their disciples didn't get it anymore. Okay? And what's interesting about Huai Rang is the way they train their people. That's why they Huai Rang. Huai Rang has a way of training people that is so advanced that the other schools don't have. What's the difference? I never went to the Linji and the other schools, but the Huai Rang. Can I share you a secret here? Huai Rang school. Is it okay to talk like this, sir, or am I wasting your time? You want to learn about the Sutra, you want to hear about the gossiping here? Huh? Is that okay? Well, if you don't feel like it. The difference, why Huai Rang is so important, that's so peculiar in the Huai Rang training is that, what? It's right there between Xu Yun and Master Huai. Because of the Huai Rang form of training, you are not limited by your teacher. Linji, remember? Linji. It's the way your teacher beats you and kicks you and yells at you and curses at you that helps you become enlightened, right? So you need that to become enlightened. Yes? So your enlightenment is dependent on how well your teacher beats you up, how well your teacher abuses you. Right? Huai Rang training, you don't need the teacher to beat up at you. That's why you're not limited by him. Yeah, cool? And that's why Master Huai has to be Huai Rang, because he's not limited by Master Xu Yun. To recognize him as Sao Tung and Yun Men and all those, the other four schools, is underrating him. Is that clear? Oh, well, I'm boring you to death. Oh, well. Shall we go back to something profound and five fingers? All you have to do is five fingers. I recognize the five fingers right away where it came from. Five fingers.
Master, is there any reason why Master Macho was more popular than his master?
Master who is more popular? Macho.
The Macho was more popular than the Huai Rang.
Why is he more popular?
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that yet. Can you give me a few years to think about it, please? Why do you ask questions that's so hard? Well, into you. Maybe because Master Wei Shan is not looking to be famous. He never thought of even opening a school. Now his pupils said, I better open a school because I want to make sure that people know that what I learned is from him, not from me. Okay, so lots of reasons. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. It's we remember five fingers. A monk is judged by what? The size of his temple, how many disciples he has, how rich they are. Remember those things? Okay. What are they? What are those criteria? Huh? See, Korea forgot already. Five Fingers forgot already. Text, what are those criteria to judge a master? Orange.
How many of his disciples become enlightened?
How many disciples enlightened? Okay, what else?
That's it.
So I spent an hour talking about this and said, that's it. You spent an hour. This is all I got from your hour talk. Anyone else? What else did I say? How do you judge a monk? How is a monk judged? Yes, Billy.
Little bit mean to the disciple, and they ran away.
The what?
A little bit mean to the student, I think.
What did he say?
Mean to the students.
How mean he is to the student?
Yeah.
How many students ran away? Something wrong with this guy. Anyone else? Someone is paying attention. The rest of you have been sleeping.
His teachings.
Thank you, thank you,
You're welcome.
thank you.
Venerable
You should come
Master.
to the temple more often. You guys can go, Doesn't matter anymore. Of course, number one, the depth of his understanding. Yes? Number two, how skillful he is at transferring that knowledge to the next generation. It's your responsibility, yes? To pass on to the next generation your best. Yes? That's how you judge the monks. Okay? I have neither. My disciples, they're all sleeping when I speak Dharma. Okay, next. 448. But it's okay. I'm used to it. Last 15 years. Master Huai Rang stayed with 6th Patriarch 15 years. He got so much. I spent 15 years teaching my pupils. None of them is room entering. 448. Chan Master Huai Rang used to tell his 6 room entering disciples like this. You 6 similarly certified my body. Each matches one part. So you see, he uses an analogy now. He says, I am with this body here. I came to this world and took on this body here. I'm leaving the world. I'm sharing you my body with you 6. Okay? Shall we find out what those bodies are? I'm willing to bet it's a heart somewhere or brain somewhere. Yes? What else would you think he would leave for his next pupil? That's see how smart you are. You have a heart, yes? What else do you think he's leaving behind? That's important. Heart, mind, same thing. You so American. Yes. What else? What? Ears? If you want ears, then you have to have mouth. Mouth is more important. You eat. That's what you eat with. Never mind. I give up. You guys are just keep at it. Keep at it. 449. One attained my eyebrow. See, the Chinese are very vain. My eyebrows. It's so Chinese. Can you imagine us to say, I'm leaving my eyebrow to my children? The children says, no, Dad. there is something, nowadays is something called tattoos. We all get tattooed. You guys are boring. Yes. My eyebrow, good at comportment. That's 长好. Okay? Here the 无美, 善位, okay? 长照, 长好. Okay? So one of his disciples is 长好, Chan Master 长好, and he's very strong and weighty, and the Chinese weighty is eyebrow. It's too Chinese for me. I cannot connect with eyebrow with comportment. To me, comportment is more like posture. Yes? Okay. But the Chinese it's eyebrow. Okay? One attained my eyes, good at looking around. So 智达. Okay? So he has the eyes. Okay? Of course, you could guess eyes would be a good guess. I would have never guessed eyebrow. There's no way. It's just too Chinese. My eyes. Okay? 智达. 一人得无眼. One attained my eyes. Good to listen. My ears, not eyes. This is terrible. My ears, sorry. One attained my ears. Good at listening to the principle. That's 坦然. Okay? Can you fix the English, please? My ears. Okay? So far, so good. That's 3. There's 3 more. 450. One attained my nose. Good at knowing qi. Why qi? Chinese people, why qi is so important? No one gets it anymore. Even the Chinese don't get it anymore. Okay? One attained my tongue, good at discussing. That's 言俊. Okay? One attained my mind, good in the past and present. That's 道一. That's 马祖. Okay? So clearly the mind is the most important one. Yes? 马祖 is probably the most famous of them all. Okay? So that's what the mind is foremost. Yes, Pink.
So the 知气 is probably to smell the smell, the 气味.
The 气味. The nose.
Yeah, the nose.
Mm-hmm. And later, this Sheng Zhao here, this monk, this Chinese monk here, moved to Europe and settled in where? France. And they invented the nose. The French, they have the nose. Perfume. They can distinguish 3,000 different aromas. 3,000, mind you, 3,000. Not 5, 3,000. Okay? Not 5 fingers, 3,000. The nose. So probably that's from the Chinese. I'm willing to bet. Any other questions? So all these room entering disciples have their own specialty. Okay? Yeah. 451. And enjoined, all Dharma are all produced from the mind. When the mind has no production, the Dharma has no dwelling. If you arrive at mind ground, all doing has no obstruction. If not meeting with superior roots, you should exercise caution with words. So he's giving them instructions, all these 6 room entering disciples. He says, you may be good at your ears, you may be good with your nose, You may plan to move to Europe. But you have to remember, all Dharma, okay, all the Mahayana Dharma is produced from the mind. Okay? But this mind here is a mind that has no production. That is why the Dharma it produces had no dwelling. This is not something you can understand, by the way. Okay, it's for these 6-room entering disciples. It's okay. Don't beat up on yourself. It's perfectly normal not to get it. And don't tell me I get it, because you don't. You can't. Just listen. That's part of learning a Dharma, is to listen to plant the seeds. You plant the seeds first. Don't worry about it bearing fruits and have a tree and something that's down the road. It's going to happen. Nothing to worry about. Even Catholics who plant Buddhist seeds will eventually have Buddhist trees. Okay? So don't worry. So everything produced from the mind. The mind is the mind. This mind here, the mind that you have, all 6 you have, is a mind that has no production. What does no production mean? This mind here, your mind, doesn't even say, I got it, I understand. Okay? Unlike you. Listen to Dharma and say, I got it! That's a mind of production. I understand now. That's a mind of production. Does anyone feel insulted at all? You should be. You should feel insulted because you have a mind of production. Don't nod your head, that's a mind of production. Hey, Korea, you get it? Huh? Ask the room, translate, do you get it? It's a trick question. They're too smart. No one is answering. Okay. Because when you have a mind of production, the Dharma you're learning has no dwelling. Don't even try to understand it. Even right the background, all doing has no obstruction. When for these enlightened beings, everything they do has no obstructions. That's what it means. You believe that? You say, how come enlightened people are so poor? That's obstruction, isn't it? How can you do things you don't have money? And the question is, who wants to do things? You're enlightened, you don't need to do things anymore. That's why there's no obstructions. You inferior people, if not meeting with superior roots, okay, this is his instructions. If you meet with people who cannot absorb, that's superior roots. You can tell superior roots. What are superior roots? The roots, the people who can understand Mahayana. They're not turned off by Mahayana. Okay? They're not afraid of Mahayana. They don't run away when you tell them things they don't get. They keep on coming back and say, I like it. Can I ask you a question? I said, okay. Because that's superior roots. As long as you don't run away, you are superior roots. That's my definition of superior. So go away. Except for you, you can come back. Okay. The rest of you, go away. You're not listening anymore. I'm wasting my time talking to you. Anyway, so when not meeting with people who can understand, who has the ability to understand, Okay? You should be cautious, be careful, okay, when you talk to them. That's all he says. That's the wise words from a great Chinese master. Okay, those of you who are thinking of becoming monks or nuns, we're not discriminatory, or thinking of teaching, this is the parameters of a great teacher, because it came from a great teacher, one of the greatest teachers in Mahayana, history of Mahayana. Okay? Today is very quiet, you know, like internet. Well, I don't know what he's talking about. Does it mean I have superior roots or inferior roots? Usually, internet says, I disagree with you. Oh. But now, they're so impressed with my story about Wei Yang and the 4 schools of Chan, because I assure you, even the Chinese don't know that. It's not written anywhere. That's why you look at the Chinese Chan masters, Chinese Chan or Korean Chan teachers or meditation teachers. They cannot tell the difference why these houses are different, Linji is different, Wei Yang is different, and they think it's they have their own interpretation. Okay? But it's because it's not written anywhere at all. If you ask Master Huai Rang disciple, you know about the Wei Yang school and so forth? They say, my master never told me, so I don't know. See? But only Chinese don't know. Now we Americans know. Our American style, our American version of the 5 Chinese Chan school. Huh? All right? I know it's hard on you. Some of you say, oh, I don't know how much longer do I put up with this? Another 27 minutes. That's the answer. Sutra text. I hate it when people is called to use the word dhyana master. Chan is not dhyana, Jesus. Dhyana is Sanskrit, I think. Chan is Chinese. I'm favoring Chinese because I don't know Sanskrit for a simple reason. It's from ignorance. Anyway, Dhyana Master Xuan Jie of Yong Hua, oh, this is the next teacher, the next disciple of Master Huai Rang. Shall we go or should we stop here? It's too hot. Yes, sir. Back there. Give him a microphone. Orange.
Pardon me I'll show off a minute. Dhyan is the Sanskrit that Chun comes from.
Chan came from, yes, that's
the
true.
The word Dhyan.
Right.
Dhyan, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then technically it should mean the same thing.
Technically, yeah.
But in India, dhyana can be used differently.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally
depends on the context.
Yeah, this guy is so intellectual. Okay. Yes, it is true. My point here is that if I use the word dhyana, okay, then there's a problem. What is the problem? You don't have the problem. I have that problem. When I use the word dhyana, someone says, you know, Master, did you know the dhyana comes from Sanskrit? I said, and then he said, you know what it means in India? I said, You see that? And now I have to go back to Google and start searching again. I'm too old for that. Okay? So I prefer Chan because when you ask me about Chan, I can go talk to the Chinese. I don't know anyone who speaks Sanskrit at all. 5 fingers.
So it's like some people call it sun as Zen,
Yes.
and then like for me, when people say Zen for some, and I think of Japanese Buddhism, so it's confusing, sort of thing.
Right. So it's okay to use it interchangeably. It's just my personal preference that when I use Chan, then I'm talking to you from my Chinese Chan perspective. I admit to you, my viewpoint is very limited to the Chinese Chan. So when I use dhyana, now I'm exposing myself to people who's going to say, some Catholics going to say, excuse me, Master, what's this dhyana thing here? I say, I don't know. Okay, you see that? So it's self-defense mechanism, if you will. Right. And you need to be careful, because this is the West where this day and age people ask for references. And I cannot use Sanskrit references because I don't understand them. So I prefer not to use the word dhyana, if you will. Just my personal preference, that's all. Okay? But these people, they understand Sanskrit. They learn Sanskrit. They have a PhD in Sanskrit. There's so many PhDs over there. My disciples are pretending not to hear anything. They have PhDs up to their ears in Berkeley, Madison, Wisconsin Madison, you name it. Stanford, how many PhDs do we have? One. From where? Hey, you, where did you get your PhD from? Huh? You see? So why do we talk about it? There's no need to talk about it. But these people, so they use the word translate into the dhyana, okay? And you have to give them credit for that, okay? It's them, not us. I personally would not use dhyana, I use Chan, okay? Because it clearly defines my reference points, okay? Anyway, okay, so now Yong Hua is one of the eminent disciples of the sixth patriarch as well. It's funny that he's not even a room entering disciple. Think about it. Okay? He didn't get groomed long term by the great sixth patriarch. But he is also very famous. His Xuan Jue Yong Hua was the son of a family called Dai in Wenzhou. When he was young, he studied the sutras and commentaries and was skilled in the Tiantai Dharma door of stopping and contemplating.
永嘉玄觉禅师，温州代世子，少习经论，经天台止观法门。
I like the way Chinese sounds when I don't pronounce it. 453. So this Dhyana Master Xuan Jie Yong Hua, where he came from, is son of this family and so forth. And he was young, he studied the sutras and commentaries. Jing Lun, and Lun is, I believe, Shastras. Okay? The Buddhist store has three kinds. They have Lü, which is morality, rules of morality. Number two, Jing, which is sutras, and Lun, which is shastras. So now, when I was younger, I was told that Lun is the most advanced. Lun are commentaries, discussions that are produced by the disciples, Bodhisattva disciples of the Buddha. That's what they call Lun. They argue the debate. Sutras are the teachings from the Buddha. And Vinaya is his teachings about rules of morality. Of course, only he don't understand. Of course, his bodhisattvas cannot understand fully. Okay? So you see the Lun I was told when I was younger at my master's disciple is that Lun is more advanced. It's not true. Sutra is more advanced because of the teacher. Right? I mean, the Buddha, how can a bodhisattva expect to understand more about Buddhism, have a much deeper understanding than the Buddha? That's not possible. Right? So anyway, this should be shastras, not commentaries. Okay? Can we change it to shastras, please? Okay, I don't care what the other side, these PhD people think. I don't care. Okay? Let me stick to my small world. So when he was very erudite, Yong Hua is very erudite, and he was young, and he left the home life with brother and nephew. And you can tell there, okay, that the family, 门当户对, that's in a Chinese system, but this is when you see that these people are privileged. They are superior people. Okay? They're born to superior families. Okay? And the spirit people hang out, hang together, and they go together, and they gather, and they do great things. Okay? So he became a monk, the brother became a monk, and also his nephew became a monk. Look at that. Isn't that cool? These people have tremendous blessing. With skill in the Tian Tai Dharma door of stopping and contemplating. First of all, Tian Tai is a school of study of sutras. Yes? Okay? The very erudite, they study the Buddhist teachings, particular sutras. They're very advanced. However, if you study whether Buddhist sutras or a PhD or masters, whatever, okay, or the boys' school. I talked about boys' school last Friday in San Jose a couple nights ago. They also teach a lot of stuff, some Buddhist stuff as well. But they fail to teach what? Meditation. All right? If you want to penetrate the depth of any field of study, you need samadhi. You need concentration. All right? And so, Tian Tai School, even though they specialize in teaching, in researching the studies and the sutras, but they also have their style of meditation as well. So it's a very complete school, if you will. It's utmost admiration, trust me. It's very difficult. Okay? Whereas nowadays you get a PhD and you get a degree in PhD or master's, whatever, or bachelor's, whatever, but you don't need to know anything about stopping and contemplating. You don't need to know anything about meditation. Okay? And that's why nowadays, the learning is not as balanced as it used to be. So we cannot achieve the depths or the heights, whatever you want to call it. Depth is lower, height is going up. Okay, depth is going down. Okay, so do you see, Tian Tai is such a fantastic school because they made the name. The claim to fame is that they understand the teachings, the sutras, the teachings, but they also have meditation. Okay, and their practice of meditation is called stopping and contemplating. Guan, Zhi Guan. Okay, that's Chinese for samatha and vipassana. Now you know. Vipassana is contemplating. That's Guan, Chinese Guan. Okay, Pali is vipassana, and Zhi is samatha. Now you know. See that? Any questions? So they understand They understand the principles of meditation, and they specialize in training people in meditation through stopping and contemplating. Okay, they wrote a lot of sastras and a lot of information on how to do that. Okay, so you can tell that Xuan Jie was very erudite, very well read, and very balanced. Okay. Master Huai Rang's disciples are really eminent. They're outstanding individuals, and yet they still have to come to him. After specializing Tian Tai, specializing in their meditation, okay, they still have to come to him. Yes, internet.
Master, 门当户对 is for couples.
Yeah.
Jane is suggesting 出生门第.
诸圣门第, there you go. Okay, never mind. Okay, that's thank you very much. Okay. 诸圣门第. Okay, there you go. Very good, thank you. See, these people, they're so biased towards marriages. So, Master Yong Hua visited the great Master Sheng Xiu at Yuquan Temple and asked a Chan Master, he sought out the more famous Chan teachers. See, remember I talked about yesterday, the essence of Chinese Chan, of Mahayana meditation is to seek out a wise teacher. So you can tell this Yong Hua, this Chan person here is superior, has superior roots. He has the Mahayan blood running in his veins. Okay? You can tell right away. People have Mahayan roots, they say, I'm going to follow my teacher. And the other says, boo, 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 boo. No, let me think about it. Okay. That's what the Chinese say. Boo, 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 boo. So if your Dharma name had boo in it, you are inferior roots. Did I use the word boo anywhere? You all boo. Okay, so he sought out the more famous Chan masters. It's so Chinese, it's so Mahayana. Okay? It's so remarkable. So, anyone would like to change your Dharma name to Boo? Boo? I don't care. Anyone? Just for today only, I will make a special exception this afternoon during the refuge ceremony. I change your name to Boo. You don't even have to be here. Boo, 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 boo. Sutra text 455. I have 10 more minutes. Upon reading the Vimalakirti Sutra, he understood the mind ground. One day he happened to meet the master's disciple Xuan Tze and had a pleasant talk.
因看维摩经发明心地，偶师弟子玄策相访，与其聚谈。
Okay. Let's go to 456. Vimalakirti is a very famous sutra that's very popular with lay people. Because in that sutra, the Manjushri Bodhisattva made fun of all the eminent monks, disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha. So the lay people read that sutra and said, if you leave the home life after you devote your life to study under the Buddha and you still are no better than a lay person, what's the point? Okay? So Master Huai Rang refused to print that sutra. Okay, so upon reading Vimalakirti Sutra, she understood the Buddha mind ground. What does it mean? Mind ground.
he Buddha nature.
Igbo is Buddha nature.
But he's not sure.
But why ground? Buddha mind is Buddha nature. But why ground? Anyone? This is important. This is fundamental. San Jose finally is awake. Why mind ground? You hear this a lot in Mahayana, okay? And it's too bad. It really bothered the heck out of me. Mind ground everywhere. And I asked my master's disciples, what is mind ground? They said, My master never explained it. I said, why didn't you ask? Yes. What's mind ground? And now I have to ask myself because you won't ask the question. Yes, speak.
I understand the ground meaning that you can take everything, all the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Good, bad, and ugly sounds like Clint Eastwood movie. You can tell what this guy does in his spare time. Watch movies. Okay, 5 fingers. Who's tired? Usually 5 fingers like this. Today, it's like this.
땅에 무엇을 심느냐에 따라서 좋은 것이 나옵니다.
So Venerable Soju says, because depending on what you plant on the ground, you have a different harvest.
Have you noticed what happens, the strange thing about Korea? I just noticed now. What's going on in Korea? Can you notice something that's kind of strange? Huh? Sang-wook, what's different in Korea right now? Huh? Huh? Jung-in Sunim, what's strange in Korea right now? Look at the screen. What's different? Pink. Have you noticed anything that's different? I have 10 minutes, that's why I don't want to go any further into this slide. That's why I'm just wasting time. What's so unusual about Korea right now?
서주 스님이 살이 많이 빠지셨는데.
What are you saying in Korean? What? Black.
Saju Sunim lost a lot of weight.
Speak for yourself. You lost at least 20 pounds. Oh, by the way, we don't feed our monks and nuns at all here. 1 meal a day. And we eat very fast. Is that true? She lost some weight? Ipche, what have you been doing? You're not feeding my Sanghans.
많이 먹고 있는데 다 배로 갑니다.
She says it's only the face lost weight and everything went to the belly.
So the Koreans are so weird. When they lose weight, they lose only up here. The rest is the same, she says. Yeah, right. No! We don't look at people's body. Chongyin, we don't look at women's body or face. You know, in a Chinese system, let me tell you, you go in the Chinese system, you can talk to a nun for 10 years, you still don't know how they look like. You can recognize their voice because they always, you always look like this and never look at the face. Anyway, no! What is unusual about this picture here? Huh? Huh? What's unusual? Huh? Orange. Huh?
People there.
The people there. Very good. Jeez. Go back where you come from. Very nice. So discriminatory. I hear that in my entire life, you know that? He said, go back where you came from. They tell me that all the time. So now, go back where you come from. Very nice. What's special here? Yes, my kitchen manager, black.
They all sit on the chair.
They all sit in the chair. No! What? No one knows? You give up? Okay. Only Xianan is in focus, rather blurry. Usually, I would focus on the numbers in the back because they are bhikshus, bhikshunis. But no, somehow the camera chooses to focus on a shamini, and the bigger shots are out of focus. Speak so highly of who you are. See that? You should focus on the back, where the bhikshus are, the bhikshunis are, not in yourself. She doesn't get it. She says, no, focus on myself. And I thought for a while, I've been doing this, has been happening for a while. I thought, gee, you know, these classes, in case you haven't noticed, they kind of new. You know? I thought I'd go intellectual for a change. It hasn't worked. No one noticed any difference. They still fall asleep. But anyway, it's funny because I had these classes like 6 months ago. I don't dare wear them because I didn't want people to notice Master is so vain, he's going to get a nice pair of glasses. But after a while, I couldn't wait anymore, so I started wearing them the last couple of months. And I realized that now I need new glasses. They're out of focus. I couldn't read this morning the Puman Pin booklet. So I had to go use my spiritual powers. So, yeah, because my glasses are three levels: far, middle, and close. Okay? So I tried to adjust the close, but I couldn't. No matter how much I squinted, I couldn't read it. It's so annoying. It used to be so big, the characters, black and thick and bold and big. Now it's so small. Anyway, time is up. So anyway, he talked about it. So the answer, right? The answer before you go have some ice cream. Why mind ground? So Mahayana. Okay, they talk about mind ground because they are reminding you that if you want to become enlightened, if you want to make progress, okay, you have to plant the seeds for becoming enlightened, for making progress. So the ground is where you plant the seeds. That's so Mahayana. Okay? Hinayana, they said, meditate, and you become enlightened. Yes? Mahayana, plant the seeds. Don't worry. You will become enlightened. As soon as you plant the seeds, you will become enlightened. You too. See? He's shaking his legs. He's so happy. If you plant the seeds, you will become enlightened. Doesn't matter. And cool? If you keep meditating, you will not become enlightened. So, plant the seeds. That's why it's called mind ground. It's a very important Mahayana concept. The concept is that if you want to get somewhere, you have to do something, you need to plant the seeds. Yes? You want to go to college, plant the seeds to go to college. You want to get rich? Plant seeds to get rich. Yes? Okay? That's the concept of mind ground. Seeds. 种子. Okay? That's critical. So the quality of the seeds and the place where you plant it is also very important. And your mind is very important place where you need to prepare the mind so that you plant the good seeds and make it and fertilize it and so forth. You see that? It's your mind. It's not a piece of land somewhere else. It's here, inside of you. You plant it. Okay? And may I say something before we end today? Part of planting the mind ground is hard work. It's not supposed to be comfortable. If you're comfortable, you're not doing a good job. You're not working hard enough. Okay? The planting is labor intensive. It's very tiring. Any of you has been a farmer? Sir? No? Never been to the farm? Me neither. Have you heard of any farmer who can take it easy and say, I'm at my thrill? Huh? They all work their butts off since 3 or 4 in the morning until sundown. Yes? You're supposed to suffer. If you're not suffering, you're not working hard enough. See how profound Chinese Buddhism is? It says mind ground. Everyone says, yeah, I know mind ground. What's the big deal? They have all these hidden connotations that unless you are an experienced farmer, you wouldn't know. Okay? Thank you. Hallelujah. Okay, next time is 4:57.